Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Good afternoon, Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to Sports Extra. I'm your host Ahmad Nawaz with the latest roundup of sports today. Let's take a look at what we're discussing. First of all, we do tell you that there are big things all around, but Pakistan's tour to Sri Lanka is on the cards now. 2 test matches will be played in this exciting series. It's going to be a very tough series for Pakistan, considering that Sri Lanka is very solid in their home conditions, and you all know that spinning tracks favor Sri Lanka, and Pakistan have traditionally been of the opinion that they do play spin well, but it's not that case. We struggle against spin. So I think that will be the real test for Pakistan this time. The schedule is out as well. We know the squad had been announced. We discussed a bit of that in this week as well. But the fact is that you really need to come up with a solid start, because this is the beginning to the new cycle of the World Test Championship. So Pakistan have done well. They want to do well again in this format, particularly because next time we want to see Pakistan playing the final of the World Test Championship. So we'll be talking about all on details in this series as well, and then particularly how you can carry that form into Test cricket with particular names that are joining the Test squad as well, and also the conditions, how they will be very testing for our bowlers and our batters as well. Then of course we move on to the Ashes. It continues. Before lunch there was no play due to rain. 281 runs target had been set by England for Australia, but Stuart Broad was amazing. He got both the wickets, which were the prized possession of Australian batting lineup. It will be very interesting, because the fact is that, like I said, Asif probably highlighted this in a very particular way. He said that he sees this test match being result oriented, and that's the case. So I think if you're having result oriented test matches, that means that the Bazball and Australian strategy, everything is working. So results in 5 days makes just Test cricket more exciting, but Ashes is the pinnacle of Test cricket. So we'll talk about that. And then of course we move on to the emerging Asia Cup for women, where Bangladesh have beaten Pakistan in the semi-final. Pakistan is now knocked out of the tournament. Bangladesh will be facing India in the final. So congratulations to Team Bangladesh and India, and of course congratulations to Pakistan for making it this far. But unfortunately it was a very disappointing performance in the semi-final. That's what we're talking about in detail right after this short break. Stay tuned. And now to discuss things in detail, introducing our guests. First of all, in studios, we've been joined by cricket commentator, broadcaster, presenter, and our cricket expert, Asif Ahmad. Assalamu alaikum. How are you, sir?
I'm fine. Wa alaikum assalam. Ahmad, before start of the show, I just want to say something. You said that I had said about the Ashes that if there is no rain, then it would be a result oriented. But still, I'm quite sure that the Australia's favourite for me.
Well, England do have a bit of momentum. Also joining us on Sports Extra is sports expert and analyst at Sports Extra, Sabir Hussain. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. Ahmad, I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Great to have you on the show. We've also been joined by sports anchor and cricket expert Ali Gauhar. Assalamu alaikum, Ali. How are you?
Walaikum assalam.
Well, Ali Gauhar, the weather is certainly not letting it go at the moment, but what would you say, where does the momentum lie so far?
Well, look, this rain delay changes everything, right? And the word, I mean, I don't really believe in momentum, but if we're going by that, then the momentum is with England, because in the final session they lost Warner, Labuschagne, and Smith. That's huge. That's a really big dent to the Australians.
Certainly it is. And you know, the perks of having Ali Gauhar is that he will always tell you where momentum is lying so far, because I really wanted him to say England, because I want Asif to have a tough competition. But we'll get to the Ashes in a bit. Initially, we have to tell you that the schedule is out for the Pakistan-Sri Lanka series as well. Tough conditions, but like I said, the most important thing that we need to consider over here, that it's not just 2 test matches in Sri Lanka where you can experiment. Of course you should, but it's the start of the World Test Championship cycle, and therefore Pakistan really need to take this seriously if they want to get their chances better in playing the World Test Championship final next edition, probably this one, the current one that will begin. So Asif Ahmad, what would you like to say, considering it's not, like I said, not just test matches in Sri Lanka, which are very tough as far as conditions and Sri Lankan spinners are concerned, but primarily it is the start of the World Test Championship?
Well, I think that right before the Asia Cup and the World Cup, if you guys are playing spinners, quality spinners in Sri Lanka, it is really good for your batters. Talk about Babar Azam, talk about Imamul Haq, then Abdullah Shafiq, then Rizwan. Sarfraz is also in the squad. So I think this is really good for the preparation of Asia Cup and World Cup. Ahmad, you know that as we are observing, just because of the numbers of T20 games and the huge numbers of the T20 games, the players now they're not confident in ODIs and Test cricket. And then especially when we talk about the players like Pakistani, because we aren't good technically. When I'm saying this, you know that some people they disagree with this statement, but I think just go with the Fakhr Zaman. He's one of the best players in Pakistan when we talk about white ball cricket, but still his technique is question mark. Either he scored 180 against New Zealand or not. But on the other part, Imamul Haq, he's still hesitating, or he's still not okay against the short pitch deliveries. And we have observed this against New Zealand, the way he got out a couple of times. Then Rizwan, he's so good, and he has said in a press conference that I want to come on the number 4 in ODIs. This is my choice, but I'll go, of course, with the captain's choice. I think this 2 matches series is really important. You are looking towards the World Test Championship. Of course, it's in our mind, but that is, the Asia Cup and World Cup. These are more 2 important events for Pakistan. And I think half of the team of the white ball cricket, they are participating in Test cricket. So I think it's a good chance for them to go there, to play well cricket and prepare themselves for the Asia Cup and World Cup.
Absolutely. Sabir, particularly Pakistan's batting is something that we really need to figure out. Because as far as the spin bowling is concerned, we've had certain problems. With the inclusion of Mohammad Huraira into the side, I'm very optimistic because he's technically very sound. But at the same time, me and Asif were discussing something yesterday as well, that our only indicator should not be the wicket-keeping department, because Rizwan is doing that pretty well and there is no need to change him. But why can't you, just to strengthen that middle order, have Sarfaraz playing as a batter in the middle order when you realize he's right now a very technically sound batter against spin?
Exactly, Mohammad Huraira, he has been performing fantastically well in domestic circuit. I mean, he has basically proved before, making a 100 in domestic circuit. I mean, and his recent form is very, good against Zimbabwe A. He was playing wonderfully well in 4-day matches against Zimbabwe A. But I would like to discuss some Abdullah Shafiq's technique, because last time we played in Gaul, we basically won that particular test match. Very important series for Pakistan, because next series, as far as the test matches are concerned, will be in Australia. So very important for Pakistan to win this particular series, because obviously this World Test Championship cycle, 2023 to 2025, very important for Pakistan to win this particular series. Rather than making so many experiences. Yes, Sarfaraz, he has been fantastic. He has basically proved before, and in a couple of years ago in Sri Lanka and UAE as well. So he's the guy basically who performed brilliantly against the spinners. By the way, as far as history suggests, we Pakistani batsmen do struggle against the left armers. Rangana Herat, and last year basically we do struggle against the youngster like Jay Surya. So he picked up so many wickets. We lost the second test match, but this particular series is very important for Pakistan. Amir Jamal inclusion is very good in squad, but I would like to see basically he should be in the team rather than Hassan Ali, because he's having a very good form. He's a youngster. Better to look at the future as well. Like you have included Mohammad Huraira, he should be given a chance instead of Mohammad Rizwan, because Sarfaraz is your wicket keeper. Then you have, if you're looking at the future as well, so Mohammad Huraira should be included alongside Amir Jamal, because Amir Jamal will give you some reverse swing as well. He's a very good, a genuine all-rounder. We have lost so many all-rounders. We always talk about Wasim Akram's captaincy and Waqar Yunus' captaincy. Both of them basically utilized Abdul Razak's in this particular, Sri Lankan pitches wonderfully well, and especially test matches. So better to utilize these youngsters, Amir Jamal and Mohammad Huraira. Yes, Imamul Haq's form, Asif rightly said. It will be good practice for Pakistani batsmen and also for the bowlers as well, for the Asia Cup, ahead of Asia Cup, and then they have the World Cup as well. So Imamul Haq and Abdullah Shafiq, Babar Azam, yes, these three batters will be very crucial for Pakistan, but I would like to see Amir Jamal's inclusions and Mohammad Huraira. Better to give them the chance, I mean, rather than carrying them for a couple of series, then dropping them. Saud Shakil's inclusion is very good. He has been fantastically, performing really well against England in home conditions, like in Pakistan, and also against New Zealand as well. So Salman Ali Agha and Amir Jamal will be a tough condition, yes.
Absolutely. I think all in all, it's a very balanced test squad that we're seeing. Obviously, they're yet to perform, so we'll know about the combinations. And what's the captain's choice for the playing 11 is something also that really will be gauged as well. Ali Gauhar, particularly, what would you like to add about this series? Because in Sri Lanka, it gets pretty tough for Pakistan, and traditionally, we tend to struggle against the spinners a bit. But we do see the luxury of Mohammad Huraira being added to the squad. Amir Jamal is also set to probably make his debut if he gets a chance as well.
Yeah, I agree. Look, Amir Jamal should definitely play. I think that was the best inclusion. You need an all-rounder. I think Fahim Ashraf is struggling a little bit. And you need to give your all-rounders a long run. If you don't allow them to fail, they'll never improve. They'll never learn from their failures. We're so, quick to drop X-factor players. These days, especially, that never used to be the problem with Pakistan. Now it is. There was talk of Fakhar Zaman. Actually, you guys may think I'm talking nonsense right now, but I would actually have considered having Fakhar Zaman in the test squad. I know he's not now, but just keep playing in Sri Lanka. Fakhar Zaman is a very good player of spin. And moreover, he's an attacking player. And look at where test cricket is going. You just need to see the way England are going about it. We have trouble following trend. We're always a step behind. Now is the time to catch up and follow the trend and see where it's going. So that is something to think about. Think about having a test match squad where your batters are aggressive, have that streak of dynamism, and you do have players like that. Abdullah Shafiq, we all know he's done well in Sri Lanka. He's got a fantastic technique. He's a classy player. Sometimes he struggles. He's been struggling off late a little bit in international cricket. He didn't do particularly well against England, but that's okay. I have no doubt that he'll come strongly. Saud Shakil, the left-hander, is a very promising batter. He did well against England. Agha Salman as well. I'm not sure if there's room for Huraira. And if you want to play Sarfaraz, I don't think it's a bad idea, because right now, Sarfaraz Ahmad is the best player of spin in Pakistan in the middle order. And if he's playing with Rizwan, if they're in the same team, Sarfaraz has to keep, because Sarfaraz can't field. Rizwan can. So that's another thing that we need to think about. But I'm confident we can do well against the Sri Lankans, but it's definitely not going to be easy. They're very challenging at home.
No, the challenge is definitely going to be there. But Asif, this is particularly right that we tend to, just have this psychological effect on us where we lose a couple of wickets and then we tend to bog down. We also mentioned this, that you need certain escape shots. Cricket is evolving now. You need to take the attack back to the bowlers, something that particularly we've seen some of our new batters, including Abdullah Shafiq, Saud Shakil, Salman Ali Agha, they've done it particularly well. But once again, because a lot of that reliance comes on Babar Azam, there needs to be support around him as well.
Well, Ahmed, this is a problem for a long time, that if Pakistan loses wickets early on in 50, between the 30-50 runs, 1 or 2, and then all the pressure on the middle order. And so we require good batters, technically sound, like Mohammad Yusuf, Inzamamul Haq, Misbahul Haq, Yunus Khan. They were so strong. And that's why, that when we talk about legends like Yunus Khan, he was a very reliable middle order batter. But nowadays, yes, Saud Shakil, rightly said by Sabir, that he's averaging around 70 in last 2 series against England and New Zealand. And, he has scored centuries in Qaeda-Azam Trophy. And after that, there was a chance after Fawad Alam, the selectors, they have given chance to Saud Shakil. Still, I strongly agree with your question that when we talk about our middle order batters, yes, pressure is there. But I think when we talk about Babar Azam, the way he is playing for Pakistan and scoring well, technically so sound, and that even then, as Ali Gauhar said, that the Sri Lankan side, they're really good when they're playing in Sri Lanka, and especially their spinners. And do remember Babar Azam, he struggles against googlies of all round one of leg spinners. So I think, yes, Sri Lanka is a very good side. They got very good spinners, but that's why I'm saying this is now your test, that how you prepare yourself not only for this series, but the Asia Cup and the World Cup. Babar Azam, Agha Salman, now we have the luxury of Sherazi is in the squad. So I think Rizwan could play as wicketkeeper, as permanent wicketkeeper and batter. And Sarfraz could play as a batter, as a proper middle order batter. If you see that Abdullah Shafiq and Imamul Haq as an opener, Babar Azam number 3, and then Sarfraz number 4, then Agha Salman, and then Rizwan. I think that these are our, it could be our batting lineup. So I think if we are going with this strength, then our middle order should be really
I mean,
strong.
technically we've missed the trick, Asif, haven't we? Because at number 5, number 6, you need a batter who can play the second new ball pretty well as well. Asif Shafiq was doing that for Pakistan. But you're right, because if Rizwan comes at that position, he already has that experience of playing the new ball. But unfortunately, most of us don't tend to, think about it in that sense, that maybe for the team this could be a lot better.
Yeah, but I think that the think tank now, they must think about this. You know, that we got Mickey Arthur, and Sarfraz has a very good relationship, working relationship with Mickey Arthur. And if we talk about the fast bowling coach, I think Mickey Arthur he will rely on Sarfraz as middle order batter, and Rizwan as a proper wicketkeeper batter. Sarfraz was not okay, was not up to the mark with the gloves against the New Zealand. This is what we had observed. He has given chances to the batter, but yes, with the bat he was fantastic. On the other side, Rizwan is a perfect wicketkeeper and a good batter as well. I think that we should go with the Sarfraz. This is my choice.
Particularly, I would always go with Sarfraz in the middle order. Like I said, Ali Gauhar also mentioned this, the best player of spin in Pakistan. Technically, nobody has a better sweep shot than Sarfraz Ahmad. He can play in the V, he can rotate the strike, play the cut shot very well. 360 player, or everything in his arsenal, and you need a solid player with a solid temperament like this as well. But at the same time, Sabir, it will also come down to the way Pakistan bowls as well, because whether we consider it or not, this Sri Lankan young side, who are, some of them are playing the World Cup qualifiers right now, is particularly very, very talented.
They are basically, they have, some wonderful youngsters. I mean, recently we have seen a couple of players, performing, phenomenally well. I mean, especially in the IPL, Mahesh Taskina, the off spinner. Then they have a new baby born, Malinga, I think, Patrina, I think. So some slinging action as well. So they have some left arm Jay Surya as well. So they have a couple of quality good spinners. Sri Lanka is basically known for their spinners. Who can forget Ajanta Mendes as well. So Pakistan basically they need to regroup, because they have been struggling always. They always struggle, especially on subcontinent pitches against left arm as well. And we are the team basically who bundle out in a single session. So but this particular team, they have some courageous players like Babar Azam, Abdullah Shafiq as well. We used to have Shan Masood. He basically played some marvelous innings along with Yunus Khan. We chased down 350 something a couple of years ago. So we have some talent. But they basically need to groom properly, especially in the dressing room. That you have to show some guts, especially against the left arm spinners of Sri Lankan Sri Lankan team. And as far as the bowling is concerned, Shaheen Shah, Afridi, Naseem Shah, you have Hassan Ali as well. It will be interesting to see Pakistan, because they have to go for the along with two spinners. They have Abrar Ahmad and Noman Ali as well. So then it will be a choice for Babar Azam to select either Shaheen Shah, Afridi, or Naseem Shah, because you cannot go with 3 fast bowlers and 2 spinners. So then you have to drop a couple of your middle order batsmen. But I would like to see Sarfraz. We always talk about Sarfraz Ahmad as a wonderful player of sweep as well. He plays really well against the spinners. But on the other hand, Sau Shakil, you need to have one left-hander in the middle order against the Sri Lankan spinners as well, because Mohammad Rizwan, I really respect Asif's opinion, Mohammad Rizwan, but you need to have a left-hander. So if I have to choose from Sau Shakil or Rizwan, then I'll definitely go for Sau Shakil. He's a specialist test player. He basically plays more than 150 balls against mighty side like England and New Zealand as well. So need to have some test players as well. So better differentiate some couple of players. I mean, Mohammad Rizwan, he has been fantastic in T20s and also in ODIs, but the kind of chances he has been given in test matches, Sarfraz, he is a better player. If you are looking for another wicket keeper, better to include some youngster rather than investing on Rizwan as far as the test matches are concerned.
Very particularly said, Ali Gauhar, the spin department of Pakistan, primarily we've not had a spinner that is consistent enough in test cricket for Pakistan. The board has not stuck with one primarily spinner as well. I understand Noman is the prime choice here as a left arm spinner. Abrar is the new sensation. They've got quality. I will not take anything away from them, but having this one individual that's got the tag of being a spinner for your team in the test side, something which we see with Australia. They've got Nathan Lyon, who's been there over the years. Pakistan, don't you think, is missing out this trick of developing a spinner that stays there consistently for this longer format?
Absolutely, I was thinking about that. Pakistan don't have a quality spinner at the moment. Noman, although he's played lots of tests and lots of first-class cricket, and he has played enough international cricket, he's a steady, stable bowler, and that's what you need. Abrar has that X factor. He's a mystery bowler, but he gives away too many runs. He got wickets against England, but they also took him to the cleaners. I mean, there was a point where Harry Brook was just standing there and swinging through the line. And that's part of the problem with mystery bowlers. When you figure them out, they're not difficult to get away. Someone mentioned Ajanta Mendes. He had a great series against India in, 2008 or something? I was still in university. He bamboozled the Indians, but when they figured him out, I mean, he didn't last very long. So Abrar, I think he needs he needs to work on developing a stock delivery in order to have longevity at this level. So my advice would be, don't drop them, stick with them, because you don't have anybody else waiting in the wings. I can't think of anybody else right now. Pakistan relied on Yasir Shah for some time, but then Yasir Shah's form took quite a dip. Stick with Noman, and Noman can also hang around a little bit as well with the bat. He's no mug with the bat. Stick with Noman and Abrar, and see where it goes. Give them confidence, because as I said, there's not a large queue waiting. So this is something that Pakistan are struggling with. Hopefully they'll be able to develop.
Well, we certainly hope that as well, because primarily we've had some quality spinners over the years who have performed for Pakistan, and the consistency has been there, but since a couple of years now we're missing the trick. We experimented with Sajid Khan, he just disappeared. Noman has been there for quite some time. They're trying Abrar now. They've got the luxury of Salman Ali Agha in there as well. Whether they go with another primary spinner who they're able to develop in the domestic circuit is still a big question mark. That being said, now we take our focus to the Ashes, which continues. England have their tail up. They look like that they will probably end up as they want it to be, but then again, weather has other plans. Australia has lost crucial wickets at this interval. 281 runs target for Australia to win the very first test match. It's been up and down, a roller coaster ride so far, even Steven Sessions, but then again, like I said, I was expecting something close to 300 for them to be safer, but you never know with Australia, it can go either way. Asif, how are you seeing this match so far?
Well said. I have said earlier that 60% for Australia and 40% for
Is that why
England.
you're wearing yellow today?
Well, always yellow storm. Always yellow storm. I see Usman Khawaja is still there, though Ali Gauhar rightly said that they've lost their crucial wickets early on in the last session yesterday. But Usman Khawaja is still there. Then if we talk about the way Alex Carey is playing from last couple of matches, it's been phenomenal. Travis Head, Pat Cummins. So I think the most important thing is the way Australian fought actually. They got some resilience power, and that's why I do like them, that they don't give up. They fight till the last delivery of the match, till the last ball of the game, and that's why I'm supporting Australia. On the other side, I like the mindset of England, which is the baseball cricket actually, come up with the fearless cricket, and they played good. But I think that 174 on the last day with remaining 7 wickets could be really easy for Australia. I'm still with the Australia, and I think that they could beat England in this situation.
Absolutely. Let me just give you the fresh update from the ground that has come in. It's about close to 5:34 Pakistan Standard Time, so about 4 or 5 minutes ago. This update came where there were a few damp patches around the ground due to the rain pounding away through the night. Ground staff and super soppers are working on the areas to get them dry. Both set of players are on the field doing their warm-up drills. Action not far away. The sun has also made an appearance too, and therefore we will have an official announcement that the game will begin at 6:45. That is, of course, as far as our time is concerned, close to 6:45 we can say. So in 45 minutes or so, action will resume. So that's a good sign that action might resume. But at the same time, Sabir, it's now the game of nerves. Whoever gets to keep their nerves. Australia need to keep wickets in hand. England want to take wickets because Australia is going to try to chase this target down. One thing is for sure that we will expect, if play goes on, a result-oriented test match.
I hope so. It will be result-oriented, test match. I mean, Ashes series, always has been exciting. I mean, I still remember 2005, Ashes series, Kevin Peterson, he basically, the emergence of Kevin Peterson and Henry Flintoff as well. That particular, by the way, series was being telecast on PTV, I think. So, I mean, it was a wonderful series, and who can forget the Mitchell Johnson spells, in 2010 and 11, and Ashes in Australia. So, I mean, test matches, always has been exciting, but as far as the Ashes series are concerned, they are basically, always, exciting. But this particular test match, I was quite, amazed as far as the first inning, declaration was concerned. They had couple of, 6 to 7 overs left in that particular day. On day one, Joe Root was batting, phenomenally well. That particular 30-40 runs could have been very useful for England. The lead could have, gone for, more than 50. But yes, on the yesterday, Stuart Broad, heads off to James Anderson and Stuart Broad as well. I think the message for Mohammad Amir and Wahab Riaz, let's learn from these two legends. Still they are playing Test cricket. They are basically giving respect to Test cricket. They basically both of them Pakistani superstar. Basically retired from the test matches, but they look at James Anderson spells against Usman Khawaja. But David Warner, he always struggled against Stuart Broad, and more than 10 times he basically got out against Stuart Broad. It will be interesting to see if the covers being off. At 40 to 50 overs needed for as far as the result is concerned. If you get Usman Khawaja and then you have Travis Head as well. Quick 50 to 60 Travis Head will be very interesting. But for me, England will be winning this test match.
Well, for me, it's England as well. But I think, Sabir, you need to get Jay Shah off your mind now. That's where Jay Root came from. But I think this is very interesting because in about that span of overs, the game can go either way, whether it's Australia or whether it's England. But like I said, because Australia is going to go for the charge, that means that England have got their chance of picking up wickets at the same time as well. Ali Gauhar, where would you say things lie on? Because as far as the update is concerned, probably in 45 minutes, play might resume. Australia still have the luxury of Usman Khawaja. They sent in Scott Boland earlier just to niggle things around a bit. But how do you see this overall? And also, I'd like you to comment on the character of Usman Khawaja in the first innings as well, and what that confidence can do for him in this one.
Fine, I'll talk about Khawaja first. Again, it's one of those Cinderella stories. His comeback has been superb. He was out of the team for some time. Very few thought he'd be able to make a comeback, and it was because somebody got injured in an Ashes series in Australia. He came back and made a magnificent 100 and hasn't looked back since and scored runs all over the world. I think he had a little bit of a problem with his mindset earlier. He was carrying a bit of bitterness, but he seems to have gotten over that. And now he's in the zone. He wasn't bothered by the crowd getting after him or the England fielders just chirping at him a bit. If anything, it motivated him. And he is a classy player. That pull shot that he plays, when he plays the pull, he pulls deliveries that aren't that short, and he gets his hands high above his shoulder and then gets on top of the ball. That's what makes him such a good puller of the ball. And against spin, this Australian batting lineup, they've got some fantastic players against spin. And Khawaja is one of them. He uses his feet absolutely superbly. Remember his innings. This was before he was dropped against Pakistan in Abu Dhabi, that match-saving innings. And then he scored hundreds in Sri Lanka as well. So he's a quality player, and I'm very happy for him. And he's always been a fantastic stroke maker, but now his temperament has improved tremendously, and that's why he's still out there. As far as the match goes, now context is everything, Ahmed. Given the context, the rain delay, the overhead conditions, the fact that Australia don't bat deep, England are favorites. It can go either way, but there's no doubt in my mind that of this moment, advantage England. Australia don't have a lot of batting to come unless Travis Head plays a blinder and Usman Khawaja's there with him, and then Alex Carey gets a few runs. Fine, that can happen. But right now, and even if you look at the way this test match has gone, Labuschagne got a good delivery last night. Steven Smith looked nervy. That drive, he was early into the drive. It was almost as if, and you never see, Steven Smith is usually unflappable, but this time, Stuart Broad flapped him. And that's rare. And that tells you a little bit about what's going on in the Australian dressing room. I think there are more nerves in the Aussie dressing room than there are in the England dressing room.
Well, visibly, there was a bit of a struggle in the middle as well. Batters did try to negotiate, but it was just that, that little bit of difference, the ball doing that little bit, Asif, just that, late swing that took it to Bairstow's gloves, and that's how those 3 wickets fell.
Well, you should give credit to Stuart Broad, the way he was bowling nicely, and his line of length was perfect. And when we talk about that, as rightly said by Ali Gauhar, that Steven Smith, this is not actually his favorite shot, the way he played yesterday. I think somewhere there is something was going on in his mind that, let's suppose if he was thinking some fearless or some, aggressive cricket. But that wasn't a good idea, especially against Stuart Broad, just because of his good swinging deliveries. But I think still, if you see that the plenty of batters are there, Usman Khawaja, as rightly elaborated by Ali Gauhar, he was not in the side, but the way he came back and scored century in the last innings, and the way he was playing against India as well, I think it's been phenomenal. On the other side, I must talk about that. Do not forget about Alex Carey, the way he is playing and the way he is enjoying his form. And don't forget that Pat Cummins is still there. I think, for me, still Australia is favourite.
And Cummins, we were discussing this yesterday, has batted pretty well so far.
Yes, technically he's so good. I mean, this is really nice, that a captain who is a really good fast bowler, and when he's coming with number 7, number 8, is giving 30-40 runs to his team. Phenomenal.
Well, phenomenal indeed as well. But like Sabir said, that England does have the upper hand over here as well. But it will be very crucial.
It's 3-1. You 3 guys, you're talking about England, and I'm the only, because I'm wearing this yellow shirt. You guys are leaving me alone.
But no, Sabir is also wearing a yellow tie, but that's for Peshawar Zalmi. You know that. So that is also there. But over the years, I think Sabir, we've got to appreciate this combination of Labuschagne and Steven Smith. They've added a lot of diversity to this Australian side, because before that a lot of reliance was on Steve Smith, but once Labuschagne came onto the scene, it was absolutely superb, although it's disappointing that it's been a struggle for him in this test match.
Absolutely, Marnus Labuschagne, he has been fantastic. I still remember he basically came out to bat. Facing Jofra Archer, Steven Smith was basically, hit on the head. Very, very courageous and, a marvelous player for Australia. And Australia was, a couple of years ago, they were struggling, because of, some sandpaper gate in South Africa as well. So, the way basically Pat Cummins, he basically, regrouped his team. And especially, his individual performance, yesterday, basically, the tailenders were hitting some boundaries, Ollie Robinson as well, James Anderson as well, down the track boundary to ball. And then Pat Cummins basically, came out, and he basically, got the wicket of, the last man. So, a very courageous decision, obviously captaincy from Pat Cummins. Let's appreciate his captaincy. The way basically, he captained his side in Pakistan series as well, winning the series in Pakistani's soil for after so many years. It was fantastic. But this particular series, everybody is talking about, baseball, Ben Stokes' captaincy. But let's appreciate the captaincy of Pat Cummins as well. His individual performance, as far as his bowling is concerned, the way basically he bowled Ollie Pope, the swinging joker, especially in the less than 30 overs, the ball is so old, and the kind of the reverse swing he was getting Pat Cummins. Ollie Pope was bowled, and Joe Root was struggling against Pat Cummins. So his individual performance is fantastic. fantastically well. Yes, Usman Khwaja, he has been, I mean, phenomenal for Australia. And, you know, he has been, you know, some underrated player. I would say he should have played some more test matches for Australia as far as, you know, the opening slot is concerned. Some more openers were tried. He was being dropped in the Indian series couple of series ago, and then in England as well. He himself basically, you know, regretted these kind of things, but he is a phenomenal player. He basically performed in every condition. So he is the key for Australia. If his wicket is gone down, then England has a chance.
The chance is certainly there, but what about captaincy, Ali Gauhar? I know that Bazball strategy and Ben Stokes' aggressiveness has been talked about pretty much in all, I think, aspects of not just the Ashes, but overall England's test campaign as well. But equal competition when you talk about Pat Cummins and the aggressive Australia. So this was probably the best competition for Bazball to go against the mighty Australians.
Yes, they're arguably, I mean, I wouldn't say arguably, right now, definitely the two best test match captains at the moment. And you can see that on display. The field that Stokes set for Khwaja in the first innings when he on the third morning was, many thought it was a joke, and it looked like a joke where he had fielders in front of him, but it worked. Ollie Robinson ended up bowling him out and gave him an unnecessary send-off, but it worked. And I was giving Bazball a little bit of flack before the test match started. I didn't think it would work that well against the Australians, and as the test series progresses, we may find that it won't work against this Australian side. But I will say, Ahmad, is that you have to give England cricket a lot of credit, because they, through Bazball and Stokes and McCullum, are reviving test match cricket. Test match cricket was in a lot of trouble, but they've given it life. They've breathed life into it again. Whereas, you know, when you look at the IPL and T20 competitions around the world, it wasn't, you could see test match cricket was suffering, not having what the IPL and T20 cricket and Indian cricket. I'm not doing that. But test cricket needed some kind of a resurrection, some kind of a resurgency. And it's come through England's Bazball approach. And you'll see other teams following suit. So you really have to give England cricket a lot of respect for going out there, challenging themselves, and bringing test match cricket back to life.
Certainly. I think that really is the case, and the World Test Championship format as well. All that coupled has really brought interest into Test cricket, and particularly not just the Ashes, but before that, with keeping up with the points table, everything involved has been very, very interesting. But one thing is for sure, it's a spectacle, the Ashes is. Whoever wins is going to be interesting once we do the show the next day, because like Asif said, the odds are against him 3-1. But let's see what plans do both the teams have as well. But Asif, Ahmad, Sabir, Hussain and Ali Gauhar, thank you very much for joining us. That wraps up Sports Extra from me and the entire team. It's goodbye for now.